Rob,
Oh, what?
we're ready.
Okay, push the button.
We're rolling.
Oh, that helps. Well, well, sports fans, we did it. I'm having a celebratory beer right now. I'm toasting the President of the United States, Donald Trump. Scott?
This ain't water.
Good. Greg?
Good monster.
All
We
right.
got a monster here.
Boy,
Yeah.
that feels good.
That was good.
Greg, how late did you stay up on election night?
Actually, I crashed during the 3 o'clock.
Okay, you did better than I did. Scott?
Oh, as soon as I knew he had it in the bag, which was about 9:30, 10 o'clock, I went ahead. I said, I don't need the details. I know how this movie ends.
Well, wait a minute. Didn't we have, Greg, I sent you that video they shot in, was that Milwaukee or Detroit? Did you take a look at that?
Oh no, I saw that.
Yeah,
That was
I saw the video.
that was interesting.
Yeah. So to say, oh, well, all is well, remain calm. I mean, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and there's a truckload and there are people bringing bushel baskets of ballots. I'm like, well, what the hell? But I guess they decided to take all that stuff to recycling or
It's
have
too
it
big to
burned.
rig, baby. It's too big
Yeah.
to rig.
Well, you win
Too
the
big to rig, exactly.
Yeah. Too big to fail. We've heard that before. We know it's a bunch of crap. So,
Yeah, we were not able to rig this one.
well, let's talk about these things, guys, because what happened, I would say, is not necessarily a miracle, but let's talk about demographics. Trick question. Is there any place,
Does it
any
matter?
county, is there any county in any state where Kamala Harris did better than Joe Biden did 4 years ago? The answer is
I don't think any. I don't think there's
no,
any. There's a lot of counties. There's a lot of places in this country, so it's hard to say definitively no without looking. But no one has identified it. In fact, the conversation, as you're alluding to, it has
Sure.
been that she has underperformed Biden in basically every step.
Yeah. As I pointed
Correct.
out to somebody in June, the stories were that Biden could not get reelected if Kamala was on the ticket. We had that conversation right here. Okay,
Yes, we
had
did.
that conversation. And then Joe gets up and completely blows his debate. I mean, just shamefully blows it. And then all of a sudden, she's the golden girl. And by the way, in his speech, he did not say, and I think this is very, very telling, and I said it then, it's very telling that he did not endorse Kamala right then and there when he had everybody's attention, and he didn't do it.
No, he didn't. He waited 3 hours. We talked about that.
Doesn't matter. He was live on national television, and his people did not include it. Was she condemned at that point? The answer is no. But the only thing we know for sure is the only way she would have ever gotten to the White House is on a group tour sometime in the near future. And that
Exactly.
accounts for her even being a U.S. senator. You don't just drop by the White House. You have to be invited.
Right.
Yeah. And now everybody's pointing fingers. Greg, go ahead and point some fingers in the typical Democratic circular firing squad the Democrats are known to specialize in.
So
Have at it.
simple here. The popular vote is, to me, the most surprising part and gratifying part of the entire issue, with Trump having right now 72,313,102 votes, and she having 67,603 votes, 603,000. Nowhere close to what Biden had. Nowhere.
No, but wasn't it you, Greg, that sent me earlier a story about how Biden mysteriously found 20 million
Yes, he did.
voters that previous Democrats hadn't had, because previously the Democrats had been polling about in the
50
mid to high
million.
50s to 50 million.
Right.
And then now all of a sudden, and then Biden rolls along, he gets 80 million. And then 4 years later,
He goes back to normal.
Where did those 20 million voters go? It's not like 20 million people suddenly decide, thought back
They
then.
did. 20 million people decided they disappeared from the entire voter apparatus. The entire voter world, 20 million people that voted Democrat 4 years ago just disappeared.
How about that?
Vanished.
You would
How
have
about that?
thought that their numbers would actually have gone up since you let in 12 million freaking illegals, but
You
they can't
did.
speak English, and by
But
the way,
if
what's the electoral vote
if you
count
made
right now?
301 to 226, we picked up Alaska
Scott-
and Nevada. He did. I have a
Scott
question real quick.
predicted 300 electoral votes.
Right,
Bing,
we
bing,
both
bing,
did.
bing,
Yeah.
winner, winner, and the popular vote, bing, bing, that's a double. Greg, copycat Greg, said the same
Yeah,
thing.
I'm a copycat, right? I have a question real quick. If we were missing 20 million people, wouldn't you or I or one of us three know one of those people that were missing?
Mhm.
I mean,
Well,
20
yeah,
million is not a small
listen,
number of people.
How many people have you lost on your as Facebook friends because of your various posts in the last couple of months of this campaign? How many?
About half.
I lost I lost 6. I don't know who they were. They didn't have the courtesy to say, "Oh, by the way, F you, I'm out of here." Greg said Republicans would pick up 8 House seats. How'd they do so far?
I think right now, let's see where they're at right now. They're at 208 and they were at 202 or 205. So there's also quite a few more outstanding right now. They picked up 6 so far, but then they lost 2. So we had a net increase of 4.
Okay, that's
and there's
good.
still some more out there.
How many Senate seats?
The Republicans picked up 3, and Democrats had no change really. They lost,
Well, Joe
those.
Manchin, that got replaced. That was one of the GOP
Yeah, Manchin got
pickups.
replaced.
He'd gone
in Ohio,
independent.
we picked up, but in another one, I think we picked up.
Yeah. All right. So, and then, by the way, give me, let's see, my prediction was 282, so I'm really low, but the popular vote. And there was a prediction here that Trump would get how much percent in California, plus winning Georgia, plus winning Pennsylvania. What's his percentage in California, since you've got all the stats right there in front of you?
I thought he got 45, so let's see what he got.
I think he got in the. I think he did get the. Well, earlier in the day, he was in the 40s, which is pretty damn impressive for California.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm going back here to see real quick.
If San Francisco and LA would just break off and float away, that he'd have won,
Well, you got to realize that California is the reason that he won the popular vote, because he got so many more people than he did last time that when you add that to the other states, that gives him the popular vote.
Well, in California, he got 40, so I was off by 5%, which isn't really bad.
Listen, that damned impressive. You predicted Georgia, you predicted Pennsylvania. I don't know how you guessed on Pennsylvania. I know Selena Zito, and I don't think she was expected for the great material amount of support that Trump had yesterday. It was just incredible. By the way, we're doing this on Wednesday. It's the day after. Hey, Selena, let me tell you, she bats 1,000 all the time. All the time. I have great respect for the woman, even if she wouldn't date me. But we had lunch. We had lunch a couple times. It was nice. So I feel relieved. I mean, hugely.
The whole criminal stuff is gone. I mean, he's not. He doesn't have to worry about the criminal activity of all the jail and all the stupid crap indictments and all the.
I don't know. Letitia James said she was going to be. They were going to be. Her whole team was going to be all over him because they are the only ones looking out for the safety of New Yorkers.
Right. By the way, this is
have fun.
This is from a soon-to-be ex-Facebook friend. You support a convicted sex offender, a felon guilty of 34 counts of fraud, porn star loving, top secret document stealer. Wait until he implements Project 2025. My remark is, I hope you're one of the people on his list. What else? Give me another good thing to say.
Oh, that's a pretty funny one. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I mean, this
Oh,
whole election.
wait, Rob. No.
I'm still typing.
No. All right. Don't say I hope you're on his list. Say I've seen his list and you're on it. Be scared.
You scared? Got it. Okay. Well, I do think this
The
election.
great leader
Wokeism
shared
is
his
dead.
list with me. So
I think wokeism is dead. I think the woke movement has been a stake has been put in its heart pretty well. I think as far as
I
the
think
abuse of it. I mean,
I
I
think
mean, I'm not saying anything against woke, the original stuff and everything else. I mean, because the civil rights people who are doing that's one thing, but the way it's been abused and manipulated and maligned and distorted and everything else, that whole movement's gone.
wokeism was laudable for about 10 minutes, and then the fundraisers realized they could make a buttload of money doing it. We had a guy in our office who was, his brother was a professional athlete, like a Hall of Fame professional athlete, and he had been able to leverage a lot of stuff him in partnership with his brother, where even without sports, they were wealthy people, and they were people that started from nothing. But he is a friend of James Clyburn. And I remember when all this DEI stuff started coming up, he
Right.
was talking to us about it and talking about how it was going to be the next coming thing was going to be a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you listen to the way that he talks about it, the impression that I got from all of my conversations with him, always with that tone of voice and that kind of demeanor, always referred to how much opportunity to make money there is.
Exactly.
That's that is his thing, and that, honest to God, in my opinion, is what DEI has always been about. It has
And
nothing to do with granting equity to anyone. It is all about making money. But all these Democrat scams are, when you think about it. From the environmentalism to the DEI stuff, they're not in it to help anyone. They're in it
well,
to line their pocket.
it's all fundraising. I mean, everything, the abortion issue is fundraising. The climate change issue is all about, getting that next grant, getting that next proposal, getting that next, free line of work there to go ahead and investigate something that's not even real. And so, there's always one gimmick or one gap, after another with the left. And the whole idea, I think, of this election, people just want to get back to work. People are tired of chasing these wonderful rainbows and dreams of, I can get rich if I just do nothing. I can get rich if I just do nothing. I can just get rich if I just look this way or do something, but yet do nothing. People want to work. This is a working country. This is an entertaining country. This is a wonderful country. America is freaking awesome. And I think Trump's going to put everybody back to work making money. I mean, we're tired of being broke.
Well, if anyone can bring us back, I think it's Trump. And the fact that he has the majority in the Senate that he's going to have, that means he's going to be able to get the cabinet that he wants. He's going to be
Exactly.
able to pull in the Elon Musks and the Tulsi Gabbards and stuff to do specific things that they might be opposed, might have opposition to if in a closer Senate.
He's going to have titans of capital and everything else, and corporate America and job creation joining him like crazy. I mean, even the guy from Amazon is actually being nice to him. Bezos is being nice to him. I mean, I think they understand whenever Elon's up here, and I mean, there's a point where you're not going to be able to chop Elon down. It's your, get along or go along. And
don't forget, Bezos could basically say, "Tell you what, we'll take over all of the shipping for the U.S. Post Office."
Well, also,
you know what?
He
He would go out and buy a dozen more airplanes. That would be it. Hire 10,000 people, a dozen airplanes. It's done. Boom,
Amazon already does all the servers for the DoD, and so they're the web servers for the DoD. So they can actually find a way to expand it where they're doing more than just the DoD. They're doing, the post office as well, or the health department, or any other numerous agencies that we have. But I think everybody's woken up to the fact. If you want to talk about the real woke movement, yesterday was a real woke movement. Everybody woke up to the fact that we have to go ahead and get America going again. We cannot placate and say the same situation that Biden wanted us to sit on. We cannot
Yeah,
do
it's a lot less about being woke and a lot more about being awake.
exactly.
I think that's true. And everybody, people really did vote their pocketbook. People voted I have a full-time job and I have to have a part-time job to help pay the bills. To pay the part-time job covers the shortcomings of my grocery shopping, that sort of thing.
Exactly.
I got to get back to Jill Biden, basically, because every plague has a patient zero, right?
Yeah, there you go.
And she's it, and she is it, and it's very easy. She is in bed right there next to him, and you don't see the cognitive decline.
That's so evil.
You don't notice where he has to shift to say depends to get through the night without peeing or pooping in the bed. You know that. You know that very, very well. When he gets up at 3 a.m, that's one thing.
The elderly abuse that she's a part of, the elderly abuse that she's a part of, making him go out there and do that is atrocious. And somebody through some DCF should find her and and bring her up on some sort of charges, because there is so much. I feel bad for Joe. I feel bad for him, because
he should have retired.
Care about him
retired graciously. He's like 2-week-old bananas right now.
He can retire now, and that way Kamala can become the first female president.
Not going to happen.
90 days.
This could be our bone of contention right here. My contention would be that she treated him like crap. Did not invite him to come on multiple campaign stops. Did not bring him over to Howard University or to the last rally in Philadelphia. What?
Didn't even mention his name.
Correct. Biden realizes he was the victim of a coup, has not talked to Nancy Pelosi since June, and on and on and on. And Kamala did not, really
thank him.
The point being that if things were better between them, he could go on, congratulate Trump today, take all the wind out of the sails, take all the oxygen out of the room, resign effective noon Friday, and Kamala becomes the 47th president.
Well, I hate to tell you, Kamala has already been the first black female president.
Go ahead.
Because 10 years ago, I want to say, Joe had a procedure. They put him under for an hour and a half, and during that time, they had to sign the paperwork over to Kamala.
They never undid it, did they?
Now they did. I'm sure they did. But what I'm saying is that she has already been the first female president and the second black. Oh well. Indian or what I don't know. She's multi-ethnical.
Right. We haven't had a true African American president. No, we have not. No. But Obama's dad was African and his mom was American.
Right.
But anyway, I don't think that's what they quite had in mind. Jill Biden. My sweetie said 6 months ago, seeing Biden out and about, she said, there is seriously something wrong, maybe even longer. Seriously something wrong. And then it got to the debate point, and she's like, it's elderly abuse. She said if in her job, and she's a nurse, if she saw this, she would have to go to DCF and report elderly abuse. But you don't do that when it's the president of the United States, except somebody should have a long time ago. And I don't think if things were better, Biden would be resigning now. She would take over as president. She could do ungodly amounts of damage in the next 74 days. And we are keeping track. We are keeping track. Today was 75 days. Tomorrow, 74 days remain.
Right.
There's a picture in Drudge. We'll talk about Drudge in a second. There's a picture in Drudge of Mexican army or police escorting a convoy of buses to get to the border, to get over the border before Trump takes office. Now, my question is, when the hell did Matt Drudge become such a screaming, whiny, baby-crying liberal? The way
he's always been one.
What did he do to Bill Clinton? Hello, blue dress.
Well, no.
That
Oh,
was
The
sorry,
thing is,
a little
blue
different.
dress. Yeah.
no. I mean, the thing is, he's always been a liberal, but he's been an equal opportunity offender.
Exactly. Hey, Andy Sullivan. I mean, he's also a liberal, quasi-conservative activist as well. But he's he's about the same as Matt Drudge.
Okay.
Well, Matt Drudge just has a nose for outrage, and that's what that's what he pushes on his page.
Right.
Should be a libertarian then. Let's talk
Maybe,
about
yeah.
your favorite subject. Not girls, not beer, but the polling. What pollster,
Oh, fuck
polling
them.
organization got it right? Scott Miller, your take at it first.
I can tell you the one that got it the most wrong, and I told them from as soon as they started throwing a fit about this Seltzer poll over in Iowa, and actually it was 2 states. It was Iowa and one other, I thought. But they were all, everyone was having heart palpitations because Trump, suddenly, Kamala Harris is ahead in Iowa, and Iowa's a bellwether state, and whatever happens in Iowa is probably what's going to happen for the entire election. And as soon as I saw it was a registered voter poll, I'm like, you can call this woman, the second coming of Christ if you want to, but if she is taking a registered voter poll in the last 48 hours of the election and trying to suggest that is indicative of how the race is going to go, she ain't the professional that they portrayed her to be. They're talking about her being some kind of gold standard. They like to throw that word around a lot. You can tell they're about to tell you a lie as soon as they start throwing out words like that. And when they said that she said that, I knew the whole thing was bullshit. Registered voter polls are only good for tracking. I mean, the nice thing about them is they'll give you some sort of hint, in this indication of trends up or down. But as far as actual current position, they are useless.
Okay,
And
Greg?
as far as this election goes,
yeah,
nobody got it right. None.
Yeah.
Like zero. Like less than zero. Like this is the worst polling example of polling in the history of polling, I think.
wow.
I mean,
Well, it's hard. It's kind of hard to tell. It's kind of hard to tell because between the pollsters that sold their soul, like Seltzer apparently did, and the ones that just do a shitty job to begin with, yet the media wants to fawn over because it supports the talking point of their story. How do you know if there are any good pollsters?
I mean,
Rasmussen did a pretty good job. I think you were about to say, actually.
But there weren't any, he was still not close on this one. I mean, the thing is, you kind of know the ones who are because they brag about them. And
Well,
so
fair enough.
Trafalgar has been crickets, Rasmussen crickets, everybody's been crickets because nobody had anything like this for the battleground states. Nobody had anything like this for the Electoral College. Nobody had anything like this for California. Nobody thought he was going to get 40% or anything north of 20% of California. I mean, he's picking up Queens and the Bronx. Nobody had that in their polling and everything. I mean, he overperformed in every single manner.
But the reason that he overperformed was because of his propensity to get low propensity voters to show up at the poll.
Because I will say, and this is one thing that we don't know because it's internal polling. I think the most accurate polling was the Trump polling. Probably Kellyanne Conway was probably the most accurate polling out there.
Well, okay, so who does she?
We'll never know that because
who does she hire? Who does she hire?
Well, she has her own team now because she went back to doing her own business. So she has her own.
Why aren't you on that team? Why isn't Scott on that team?
I'm down here in Gainesville taking care of my dad. Scott's building apartments. I don't have her number. So maybe, hey, somebody should shoot her number down there to us.
All right, we'll do. Let me look it up. I'll be, you talk among yourselves.
We'll get as the next couple of years start to roll on, and we have some big state races coming up, some big statewide races coming up that we're going to be able to move forward on, and that'll get us more into that loop. Frankly, it's a Florida race, and Trump is he may be a president of the United States, but he lives in Florida, so that ought to be interesting.
Well, I think the question really is, let me tell you what, let's enjoy the moment, okay? Let's just enjoy the moment, and we'll start
Yeah, somebody got shot
bitching.
outside.
What?
Somebody got shot upstairs.
Somebody got shot?
Shot?
Yes.
How do you know they got shot?
Was a gunshot.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
let me know when the cops get there.
Well, hopefully the show will be over by then.
Okay.
Man. Well, obviously, someone
Hey,
said, "Oh,
I think you're overreacting. It could just be an explosion.
It could be. You're
yeah,
right.
oil refinery taken out by liberals protesting the results of the election."
Yeah.
Well,
Rick Scott.
here in Gainesville where I live, I did not know, and I will have to confess this. I've been saying that Gainesville is not as blue as everybody says it is. I was 100% wrong. This
Well,
place is
we
a
don't know
communist.
that yet.
Okay,
We
you're
don't know
right,
that
Scott.
yet.
But this place could be on the border of being a communist manufacturing factory. I mean, it's it was so off if the votes were right. Well, Republicans had a record turnout here in Alachua County, and it still didn't even move the needle on anything. So that's actually one area there to where we need to look at how come the needle is almost exactly the same as it was 4 years ago in the elections and 2 years ago in the elections. However, the Republicans had an 88% turnout, where last time they only had like a 45% turnout. But all the
Okay.
results were identical.
Exactly, and that's my point. The results are all the same, and yet there are so many. I mean, they're not. This is maybe one of the few counties in the country where the Democrats got the exact same number of votes and the Republicans got the same number of votes that they did 4 years ago.
You know,
That hasn't been the case anywhere.
we also have another race here in Alachua County where the one Democrat ran in a district-wide race. They got 13,100 votes. Another Democrat ran in a different district, which is totally different socioeconomic, totally different demographics, and they got 13,500 votes. And the statistics of that are just very rare, especially whenever they keep updating the votes and they keep getting the same incremental number increase every time they update the votes. And it's almost like a mirror.
Yeah. So, I think this is it. 4 years ago,
Here.
4 years ago, you and I ran a poll in Wayne County, Michigan. We've talked about a couple of times on the show.
Right.
That's Detroit, for those who are wondering. Okay.
Detroit, Dearborn, and a couple of other places
Oh,
actually.
yeah.
And that poll, it showed a huge discrepancy. We tested three races in there. Two of the races showed the results exactly the same as as what they were reporting, and yet when we asked about the presidential race, it was like
15 points.
Wayne County is a heavy Democrat county with 70% Democrats to about 30.
Always have been. Always have been.
Right. And in two of the races that we asked them about, just like were reported, they were 70-30 Democrat to Republican. When we got to the presidential race, we asked them about it, and it was 48-46.
No, actually, it's 52-48 for Trump.
What?
Trump had 52 and Biden had 48.
In Wayne County?
No. Listen. I have the results.
Okay.
It's 48. It's 48-46.
Okay, that's it.
And 48-46 were the responses that we got. The people we asked 800 people who had voted in the election just a month earlier. Who did you vote for? And why would they accurately tell us that they voted for Democrats in the first two questions, and then lie to us when it gets to the Trump question? I believe these people when they tell us that they voted for Trump, and that swing is a 330,000 vote swing. And so, and Michigan, when in 2020. Trump only lost Michigan by 146,000 votes. The entire state the difference in Wayne County all by itself. And remember, this is where this is part of those 20 million mystery voters.
Right.
All right. Wayne County, that difference right there would give Trump Michigan. So, and frankly, Trump got the exact same number of votes this time that he got last time.
Yeah.
Reported the same votes.
Right. I mean,
I'm going to be very interested. We need to rerun that study in Wayne County. We definitely need to run it in Alachua County because Alachua County is more suspect than Wayne County was.
Yeah, because right now he's only like 500,000 votes off of where he was 4 years ago.
Exactly, and Wayne County was where Rob saw those votes being hauled in and tugged.
Yeah, it was both Wayne County, Detroit, and Milwaukee. And Milwaukee, this is 4 years ago, where an extra 100 or 200,000 showed up at 3:00 in the morning, and no one, and that thing that really, yeah, I know, but the thing is, no one has seen those votes. I mean, physically seen the ballots. They were never found out. But there's Veritas people showing this stuff, truckloads being brought in, and they somehow decided not to do it in Detroit, which shocks the hell out of me. We're going to call it an evening. We really appreciate you all watching. We appreciate the subscriptions and certainly the likes and the shares and such like that. We have been sitting on tenterhooks. I don't even know what a tenterhook is, but I'm going to have to find out now.
It's a new word.
Yeah.
It's a tenterhook.
TenterHooks. You've got your computer open. Look it up.
Like a tenterhook or a tenterhook?
Tenter.
T-E-N.
Now you got me looking up.
It's feeling kind of tantric, though.
Also, I think one thing everybody needs to start. We're going to be having some new stuff up on the website, which is politicalmatrixnews.com. We are going to be we're going to be adding some merchandise on the website. We're also going to start having articles and daily articles and people here blogging on the site. And also, if anybody wants to submit blogs, they can also submit stuff to the site as long as it's not anything it's going to hurt anybody or harmful to anybody or we don't censor anything, but we're not going to put up anything that's going to be violent or anything damaging to anybody at all. And so that's a lot of glare there.
These are tenterhooks.
These are tenterhooks. Sitting on this all the time.
Yeah. Apparently they feel like you have a hemorrhoid, but it's been we've been anxious for the last few months, and now we're very, very greatly relieved.
I
don't
feel like hemorrhoids at all, man. Please. I have not had a feeling at all.
Admit. Come on, just admit. Okay? No? Not going to admit it? Okay.
I mean, I've had different feelings about the election, but the hemorrhoid one's not one of them.
It all goes away one day.
Low blood sugar, little fainting, little dry heaving, sweat. But I'm glad we got over it. And I'm glad Trump here is going to be hopefully the president for the next 4 years. If he bows out early because of his age, who knows? We got a good replacement here with J.D. Vance to go ahead and carry it on. Also, real quick before we do go, who do you think is going to be the majority leader?
Rick Scott.
Thank you, Rick
Senate
Scott.
Majority Leader, yeah.
Because Clinton is working really hard.
I don't know why John Cornyn wouldn't be considered for that. The senior senator of Texas,
grouchy. He's grouchy.
Well, I know he's grouchy, but I told you the story first time I walked in the room and he was there. I said, "Who's that guy that looks like a U.S. senator?" Because he looks like a U.S. senator, like you expect.
He does.
And he was
he
was the Attorney General of Texas at the time. So
Texas is a straight up state, man. Okay, it's just
they reelected Ted Cruz. They put more Republicans in the state legislature yesterday than they've ever had. So what?
They sent bounty hunters out on people who want to have abortions, which to me is just a little bit kind of weird.
It's a lot weird. And, women, I'll tell you what, the one thing Kamala did was got a hell of a lot of women voting for her. Oh, wait a minute. And they were one issue women, one issue.
Yeah.
What?
Hold on now. I want to admit, that I don't know anything about this story at all. But are you telling me that there is an actual story with this documentable that has people that you can go back to where the Texas sent people out to hunt people that they found out got an abortion. Left the state get an abortion.
I will have to look it up, but I will get back to you if it's documentable next week.
Because that sounds like a talking point.
That's a talking point.
And it absolutely sounds like a fake talking point.
I don't think it's fake though.
I think it is fake because the bottom line is that you couldn't enforce it
or not.
Yeah, no. Texas passed the law, passed that law, but the day they passed it, I said it was unenforceable because they can try to enforce it, but they don't have the authority to regulate what people do in other states.
Well, yeah, I agree with that.
All right,
you
ready? Got it right here. Got it right here. Texas abortion bounty law, also known as Senate Bill 8, allows private citizens to sue anyone they suspect of helping someone get an abortion after 6 weeks of pregnancy.
I think that's
Apparently,
weird.
anyone can sue, including relatives, abusive partners, or strangers. What can be sued? Anyone who provides or aids or abets an abortion can be sued. This includes employers who fund or cover out-of-state abortions for their employees. The reward for a successful lawsuit is at least $10,000. The law effectively outlaws 85 to 90% of abortions in Texas, also gives anyone the power to go to court and block a patient's abortion.
That's
my
crazy.
God.
All right.
And don't forget, Texas.
Hold on.
Texas is the state that gave us Roe v. Wade a million years ago. I knew Henry Wade, who was the DA in Dallas. So, what?
Yeah, I get that, but the fact is just because Florida has laws that they throw out on the books, but they're poorly written.
Exactly.
They're not for enforcement. They're basically for scoring political points, and that's what this one was. You cannot.
Exactly.
I mean, it is a direct violation of the Constitution to enforce negative sanctions against something that someone does over in another state.
I agree.
Yeah,
that's the reason why I think they're crazy for bringing it up.
By the way, is anybody surprised that we're not going to be able to smoke a joint on the air next week? Or
that's right.
Or
we need to talk about the amendments in Florida that failed. Yeah,
we'll do that next week because next week they'll still be failed. And
yeah, we can do it next week.
Good enough. On behalf of Greg Fink in Alachua County, the Democratic riddled, corrupt. We talk about one county that's seriously corrupt. Right. As I look at him right here,
right
for
there.
Alachua County, that's Gainesville. Scott Miller in Pensacola. We did not talk about all the new people elected to office in Pensacola. Meet the new senator, same as the old senator. Big Daddy Don is back in the Senate, baby. When's everybody gets sworn in? Soon?
The local guys are pretty soon. Actually, the state guys are pretty soon too, because they're going to have to start doing committee weeks here in probably. I don't know when's session this time. It has been kind of later in the spring, but
it's going to be in January. Committees are in January, and session starts in March 1st.
So by the end of the year, they're probably going to get the state guys are going to get sworn. Actually, I would say that all the local people are going to get sworn in before the end of the year.
Well, yeah, I would think some of them sooner than that. Even the Pensacola mayor is like a week or something, just a very few days.
The city does it differently than the county. It does it differently than the state, and so on and so forth. They all have 3 different days for 3 different.
Did Matt Gaetz get reelected?
He did.
Oh, sorry.
On his way to being governor or attorney general or wherever the fuck heck he's going to be next.
We got to keep. We'll talk about that coming up. I'm Rob Milford in Orlando on behalf of the Political Matrix News. Thanks very much. We'll see you next week.